Good evening, and welcome to our final edition of Food Trotters for the semester. And tonight we're going to be talking about some of our very favorite stuff, which is snacking. So I'm really happy to invite some of our WKU students, our international students, American students who've studied abroad, and we're going to talk about our favorite foods. So, Megan, can you introduce yourself?
I sure can. Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Fiesinger, and I'm a junior at Western. Although I have not studied abroad, nor am I an international student, I work at the front desk in the Global Learning Office, and I am also a marketing assistant.
Thank you very much, Megan. Gabby?
Hi, so my name is Gabriela. Usually they call me Gabby. I'm a junior at Western. I'm studying architecture and interior design. I'm a student, international ambassador student, and I am from Peru, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. Kazi, it's great to see you again. How are you? Your microphone's not working, Kazi. There we go. Try it again. Are you there, Kazi? Okay, we're going to come back. Carol! Tonight... Oh, there he is. Kazi. We'll come back to you, Kazi. Carol!
Hello, guys. I'm Carolina. You guys can Carol, it's just easier. I'm from Brazil. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about food today.
Awesome. Awesome. And Katie.
Hi, my name is Katie. I'm from Florence, Kentucky. I studied abroad in Ireland in the spring of 2019, and I am a GLIA ambassador, and I work at the front desk, so I'm super excited to be involved in this project.
Awesome. Awesome. Kazi, welcome back. You muted again.
Okay, I'm sorry. I do not know what the issue is. But let me try this again. So hey everyone, my name is Kazan Taylor, but everybody calls me Kazi. I am from the Bahamas. I am a sophomore, a finance major, economic minor, and I love food. So I'm excited to have this conversation.
Great. Well, so we're going to talk about snacks and snacking and why we snack and our favorite snacks and why they're our favorite snacks and what they make us think of. And I want to start out with Marcel Proust, the very famous French author who, in a kind of a messed up English translation of his very famous work In Remembrance of Things Past, has a section where he talks about dipping his Madeleine little biscuits into his tea and then eating them, and the explosion and the depth of these memories that the Madeleine bring to him when he eats them. And that's what our snacking conversation is going to be about today. So let's start way down south. Let's go to outside of Sao Paulo, the largest city in Brazil.
Yes.
And Carolina, there we go. Can you tell us a little bit about your snack?
Sure. So the snack that I choose, it's called pão de queijo in Portuguese. I know that this pão for Americans, for actually English speakers, is very hard to say, pão.
Pão.
But yeah, you were good actually. So it's basically like a cheese bread. Here they translate it as cheese roll, what works too. And yeah, it's what I like about my snack is that at the same time that it's a cheese bread, it's not the cheese bread that we got used to. It's not that cheese, super melted cheese, kind of oily, you know. The cheese kind of incorporates in the dough and makes something very, I don't know, it's cheesy, but it's not super, greasy. And yeah, it's a very, very famous food in Brazil. Like everybody knows from the top to the bottom of the country. Everybody loves it. And it's a very interesting snack because it's just like 3 or 4 ingredients. It's made out of the yuca flour and is no gluten. It's awesome. I love it.
I have to say, I love it too.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time that I tried it was in Belo Horizonte in Minas Gerais province. And what is this? It was absolutely amazing. We got it from, I think, I want to say like a little street vendor kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, say again the exactly what it is. Pão
de queijo. Yeah.
Cheese. And that means bread, cheese, right?
Bread of cheese. Yeah.
Bread of cheese. Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got the best one because Belo Horizonte is the capital of Minas. That is the state where pão de queijo was born. So pão de queijo is super famous there. You got literally the best one. I had pão de queijo from Minas just once in my life. Can you believe this? You probably had more than me.
I may have because I ate an awful lot of it.
Oh yeah, so you were lucky. You got the best one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. We were meeting with the dean of the School of Law at UFMG, the Federal University of the state of Minas Gerais, and she served us tea and coffee and sodas, and then these little pão, in her office, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's a very welcoming food. Everybody has in their freezer. We are always ready for pão de queijo anytime, any day.
And how can you go wrong with queijo? How can you go wrong with cheese?
Right? Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting because, pão is all over in Asia because of the Portuguese traveling around so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In Japan, the word for bread is pan, which is a variation on that. And they have all kinds of wonderful things, including one of my favorite snacks in Japan called anpan, which are little breads that are they're filled with sweet beans. They're like little biscuits that are filled with, but it's so interesting how these things make their way around the world. So let's go a little further north and a little further west to Gabi. Tell us about your favorite snack from Peru.
Sure. So in Peru, wherever you go to a party or to let's say a sharing of food, like a dinner or a lunch or any restaurant, you will always have the option of having an Inca Cola. And if you ask to a Peruvian if they will prefer a Coca-Cola or Inca Cola, they will say it depends. And it depends because every dish you have is Peruvian, traditional Peruvian, will fit amazingly. It will fit perfect with Inca Cola. Even in their advertisements, they always put a Peruvian dish, the chifa, ceviche, any dish, and an Inca Cola next to it. So it's the perfect combination for us. Cola is like the fusion of yerba luisa, which is a special plant we have in there, and it's a soda. And my memories, I had always had Inca Colas whenever I wanted. There is always one in your fridge too. So yeah, it's what we love to drink whenever we are thirsty. We want Inca Cola. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, I've never been to Peru, but I understand from many, many people that actually Peruvian cuisine is meant to be the best national cuisine of the world because it's so many different cuisines that are mixed together. Now, when I was traveling around Argentina, they had a drink called pisco sour, which is a little bit different from your Inca Cola. It has alcohol in it, but they claimed that was their drink. And then I mentioned that to a Peruvian friend of mine who was very, very angry, rumbled the Andes Mountains and created avalanches when he said that a pisco sour is Peruvian.
It is. It is. Pisco sour is Peruvian, but as any dish that we have in Latin America, we all have our ways of doing it. So you can say pisco sour from Chile, from Argentina, from Peru. Each of them will have their own versions, which will make them their version, their how you say their pisco sour in this case. But yeah, but Inca Cola you would find it in Peru. I promise, it's just from Peru, and yeah, and whenever people that have just tried, they always say me, it tastes like bubble gum, which is weird for me. For me it doesn't taste as bubble gum, but usually that's the kind of taste for everyone.
Awesome. So when did you have your first Inca Cola? Do you remember?
Yeah, probably when I was a baby. Yeah, because it's something we drink since we are really really young. It's our like juice, something like that.
Now, have you been able to find Inca Cola in Bowling Green?
No, sadly, no. I can find them in Amazon, and it will take some to come. Then, whenever I want it, I have an Inca Cola there in my fridge. Whenever I need that piece of home with me, yeah, there is an Inca Cola there waiting for me.
Well, of course, how ironic. When the headwaters of the Amazon are in Peru, of course you can get Inca Cola from Amazon.
True. That's true. Yeah, I have just think about it.
Awesome. Well, let's get on another plane and fly a little bit northeast into the Caribbean. And Kazi, what's your favorite snack? What do you groove on?
Well, my favorite snack would probably be hot potties. I love hot potties. A lot of our snacks.
That sounds like a very traditional.
Yeah, but the snack that I chose was plantain chips. It's very hard to find out, like, to bring a snack here, to show you guys a snack, because most of our snacks are like handmade. So you have like you have like hot potties, twists, conch salad, conch fritters, a lot of stuff that are native to the Caribbeans. So I went and chose plantain chips because plantains are very native to like the Caribbean islands. Plantain is one of the most superior side dishes next to macaroni. You could probably find plantain on any Sunday dinner plate. So that was something that I chose. And the plantain chips, they're really, 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 really nice. But I wish that I could have brought something that was my favorite so you all could see why it's my favorite, like hot potty. I am craving some hot potty right now just speaking about it.
No, I understand. Well, maybe you'll be able to get some later on tonight. Cool. Yeah, I love plantain chips.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how, every place has its own, because you grow plantains in Bahamas, right?
Not necessarily, no, we don't.
Oh, you don't? Where do they come from?
They're more, I would say, in other Caribbean islands. I know I cannot speak for them, but I know that we do not grow them in the Bahamas.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so our islands are kind of connected, so we share kind of like dishes. So plantains, like the conch fritters, the conch salads, the daiquiris, it's more native to all of the Caribbean islands.
Now, I imagine that when they do plantain chips and they're in that little bag like that, with they're fried in oil and they have, they have probably some salt or something like that. Do they do different flavors like we do with potato chips?
Yeah, they do. This is the only flavor that I've had though.
Oh, okay. So do they do them with like chilies or do they do them with sweet stuff? What kinds of what's on this what's the flavor on this chip? lightly salted. So they're just lightly salted. The plantain themselves. Cool.
I'm sorry, my phone was freezing. Can you ask the question again?
Yeah. Well, I was asking you what was on that, and then we saw them, but they were salted.
Oh, yeah.
But do they do them spicy or like Cajun flavor, or what kinds of things?
No, I've only had the lightly salted. I wish they would try to do different flavors, because that Cajun sounds really nice.
Like a pad thai flavor, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. So we're going to go further east to another island. Katie, tell us a little bit about Ireland and your favorite snack from Ireland.
So I really have a sweet tooth. I think sweet snacks are probably my favorite compared to salty snacks. So I want everyone to try the Wispa, because I love Cadbury chocolate. Like, I think Cadbury is superior to any of the chocolate that we have here. So I love Easter, because there's always Cadbury chocolate out at Easter time, and otherwise it's usually just like Hershey's and like the other general stuff. But I remember being on the bus on a field trip that we were taking as I went with USAC, so we would do field trips all together, and they'd hand out candy bars all the time. And I remember eating Wispa for the first time, and I was like, this is the best chocolate I've ever had, because it has these little air bubbles in it, and it just the way it melts in your mouth is awesome. I love it. And I wish that they had Cadbury chocolate here all the time. I could get Wispas all the time, because that is my favorite chocolate of all time.
So you haven't been able to find Cadbury chocolate here?
They have it at Easter time. They have it a lot, and then they have different Cadbury stuff, but they don't have Wispa or the same Cadbury chocolate that they have in Europe. So it tastes better and different, and just I wish that we had it all the time instead of just Easter. And I wish I could get Wispas here, but unfortunately I cannot.
Yeah. I wonder if you can get it. I'll bet you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah,
I don't know if have you tried
these ones. Yeah, that's where we got these, was on Amazon, and they had all the other different CAD ones too. So I was like, might be having to order those in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, I used to live in England, and we ate a lot of Cadbury chocolate. It was everywhere, and like you said, people eating it on the bus, and I guess that's your Proustian experience. When you have a Wispa bar, it takes you to that bus in Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were doing a tour of we were doing the Ring of Kerry is when the first time I tried it. So you just all the views were great, the chocolate was great, so it was overall just such a good experience.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's come back a little closer here to Bowling Green. Megan, tell us about your favorite.
Sure. So I am from Benton, Kentucky, which is about 2 hours away from Bowling Green. And so I was responsible for the American snack. And so I wanted to pick something that was very American in the sense of donuts. And I wanted to pick something that meant something to me. And so I picked Krispy Kreme, because where I'm from is about 15 minutes from the original Krispy Kreme location.
Really?
And so there is no longer technically a Krispy Kreme store there, but there's a little road sign that says home of the original Krispy Kreme, and then I have to drive to get them. But since I can get them in Bowling Green, I know that that's something that's pretty original to the States, and so I wanted to pick that so some of the other international students could try them.
That's pretty awesome. The only way really to eat a Krispy Kreme now is at a Krispy Kreme place, and they come rolling off of that thing that puts the sugar schmutz on them, and they're hot, and they just sort of melt in your mouth. Yum.
I have some really great memories of us going on vacation to different places and the light being on, and it was just it was really late at night or really early in the morning, and you'd just drive past and you'd almost wreck because you were turning so fast into the Krispy Kreme drive-thru. And so, yes, I agree that those are some of the best donuts you'll get is when they're hot.
Now, I don't want to burst your little bubble, Megan, but the last time I ate a Krispy Kreme donut, which was a long time ago, was in Beijing. There are Krispy Kreme outlets in China. I've seen them in Saudi Arabia. I've seen them in many places. Krispy Kreme, it's, you know, like that other Kentucky institution, Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're kind of all over the place now.
I know that when I first started, you know, thinking about what snack I wanted to do, I was talking to Alessia, who is a Canadian international student, and she said that they don't have Krispy Kremes in Canada, and that she looks forward to every time when she comes back to the school because her and her entire family always get the donuts because they can't get them at home.
Right.
So, yeah, I know that that was something that she had a connection to as well. So,
Yeah, we don't have in Brazil as well. It's awful.
They're pretty yummy.
they are good.
Well, I'm going to take a second here, and here's, I just have my, let's see how this works out. There we go. This is kind of my favorite snack. I love to have cheese for snack. And I put together a couple different cheeses that we just happen to have in our refrigerator that kind of help me around. This guy here is a cheddar cheese, an English cheddar cheese. And, you know, that brings me very much to England, even though cheddar is just a little tiny place and there's lots of other wonderful cheeses there. This one here, as you can see, it's kind of a blue cheese. It's a Gorgonzola, which is sort of a weird thing that I think Italians did for the American market. It's Gorgonzola cheese with kind of a camembert approach. And next to it is a brie, which is an old, this is kind of a new, but an old, ripe, rich French brie is one of the most amazing things. And they're even better when they've sat out on the table all day and gotten to kind of, you know, nice room temperature, and they're all gooey inside and stuff like that. And then this one here is an Amish farmer cheese that we picked up in an Amish market in New Jersey. And it's got vegetables in it, but that's you know, kind of a very American cheese. And this last guy is from Kenny's Farmhouse Cheese in Allen County here in Kentucky. And Kenny does some of the best cheeses I've ever had anywhere on the planet. I mean, they're really amazing cheeses. And you can go out there to his farm and you can meet his cows. And it's a super high-tech operation. The cows choose when they want to be milked. They go in and there's this whole laser thing. There's no people involved at all. Laser thing, it finds their udders, it cleans them, it hooks them up, it milks them, you know, so they get milked when they want to be milked. And then they can wander around, they can go outside, but then they have two different stations. One of them has a big brush like in a car wash, and they walk under it and it turns on and it scratches their back and cleans them off. I mean, these are the most spoiled cows on the planet. But I really love Kenny's cheeses, and this particular one is called a Rose after his mother. So, you know, so that's, you know, my favorite are these wonderful cheeses. So let's talk about some of these, you know, our different snacks. Okay. Please ask each other questions. You know, has anyone else had plantain chips or the cheese breads? Yeah, Gabriela. Can you get those in Peru?
Yes, we have those kind of chips, but especially in the jungle area of Peru, they put bananas for everything. So those chips are always in your dish or in your side. Like in here, they will put fried potatoes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the plantains actually came from Peru, because that's a pretty big operation there, isn't it? Growing plantains.
I'm not sure about that, but I think so. But I'm not sure.
That's okay. You're an architect and not an not a farmer. Megan, had you tasted any of the other snacks?
Yes, so we've actually all tried each other's snacks. So we are all free to talk about each of them. Something I will say that I know that everybody wanted to talk about tonight was the competition, if you will, between Plantain Chips and Doritos. So I know some people have very strong feelings on which their preference is, but if you guys want to share which one your favorite is.
Plantain chips.
Me too.
I'm going to feel bad because I'm going to go with Doritos.
Katie?
I think flavor-wise, Doritos, but texture-wise, Plantain Chips. So if there was like a cheesy plantain chip, I think that might be the ultimate chip.
I agree. I like Doritos better, but the plantain chip is just so versatile. You know, you can't have Doritos with like every meal, but Kazi says that you have plantain chips with a lot of different meals.
So I guess we're kind of tied.
Yeah, I like these light salted things that where there's not too much salt or sodium or too much taste, too much information. Yeah, I really like it. And I think the plantains, they are more crunchy than the Doritos.
And plantains are just a slice like potato chips, right? They're a slice of plantain, whereas Doritos are smashed up and processed corn.
Yeah.
So, they kind of cheat.
Makes sense.
Right? Frito-Lay can do whatever they want to that corn.
I like how you see and the style of the plantain. Like it seems like the interior of the banana. So you can see it's coming from a banana. Okay. I have the feeling of eating something that is from banana.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Gabby, what was your favorite of the other snacks? What was your favorite? Which one would you reach for?
Oh, that's tough because I love food. And for me, it's difficult to decide something that I loved since I have enjoyed all of them in different ways. So I actually cannot decide that one because it depends if it's for a dessert, if it's something to put with your dish, like the plantations, the banana plantations. If it's something to drink, Inca Cola, of course. I really like the cheese thing of Brazil because I'm a big fan of cheese. So if something has cheese, oof, I will be happy with that.
So Kazi, if we were all sitting around drinking our Inca Cola around a table and we had the snacks spread out on the table, which one would you kind of pull over toward you?
Okay, I'm going to go with the Krispy Kreme donuts. I think I finished my donut in like about 2 or 3 bites. That's how great it was.
Yeah, those go fast, don't they?
Really, really good.
Carol, how about you? What would you pull closest to you so that nobody else could get it?
Oh my gosh, I'm a super Krispy Kreme fan, so it's complicated, but I really like it, the Inca Cola, because of the cola, I was expecting to be kind of Coca-Cola, but it's super different. And we have a soda really famous in Brazil, but it's more in the north of Brazil. In the south, in my area, we don't have much. And I have tried, and it's pretty similar. It's called Jesus Guaraná.
Ah,
Yeah. So yeah, I really like it, the Inca Cola, but Krispy Kreme and pão de queijo too. Oh my gosh, that's a difficult question.
Katie, what would you be reaching for?
I definitely liked the cheese bread the most. Carol's snack was so good. I could not stop eating it. Like we had a few of them. I was like, I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy more of these. Just the texture of the bread was so good. I was like, I could eat an entire package of these in one sitting, which would not be healthy, but I could do it.
Awesome. Megan, everybody's eating your Krispy Kremes. What do you go for next?
I would probably get Katie's Whisper bars. Those were so good. I've never had like a chocolate with like the bubbles in it, but it's almost like you bite into it and you're like, wait a minute, is that a filling? And then you look at it and you see like all the little air pockets. It's just really light. I think that I described it in the past as like a mixture between a Dove bar and like a Dove chocolate bar, and then add like a little bit of air pockets. Like the chocolate was very similar to a Dove, but it was just a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yum. That's why they call it a whisper. Because in British and Irish English, oftentimes they'll take words that end in ER, like whisper, drop the ER and put an A at the end. Whisper. Cuppa. So we have some questions. I'm going to read them. Bryson Keltner wants to ask, how easy is it to get the international snacks you choose here in the United States?
Well, I guess I'll go first. Well, with the plantain chips, it's easier because that is more internationally known. But like I said, like majority of the Caribbean snacks that I would normally have or like eat, you have like pickled sausages and stuff like that, and like daiquiris and comforters and stuff and conch salads. They're like made like from hand, so like it's pretty difficult to get those. But the plantain chips are very easily attainable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Carol, is it hard for you to get the little cheesy breads?
Oh my gosh, I got lost here. Sorry. So yeah, I was surprised that it was so easy. I found that Kroger, just the closest one, and it's not the best one. I've seen some other stores, like more local Brazilian stores, that they sell better brands, but this one is already enough. But besides that, if I wanted like any other specific snack, I would have to see online or go to like a specific store. Even Hispanic stores, I cannot find many things. I don't know why.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
They do tend to be concentrated with Mexican and Central American foods and less from like south of Panama. Well, frankly, less from south of Guatemala.
Yeah, because even snacks from Argentina, for example, I don't find it. So even Peru, like we were saying, we were talking with Gabby, it's difficult to find. So I think it's more like a Mexican store, but they put Hispanic just for, you know.
Yeah. So another question that we have is Tony Dye asks, what is the favorite U.S.-based snack for the students studying in the U.S.? So Kazi, Carol, and Gabi. Gabi, why don't you go ahead?
I'm thinking about that. Is milkshakes a snack? I'm not sure about it. But
A milkshake?
a milkshake.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
If Krispy Kreme is, a milkshake can be.
So the first time I tried a milkshake was in here, and I love it. It was too much at the first time that I tried. I couldn't finish the whole thing, but then I got accustomed to it, and now I love it. And now I can drink like 2 of those, and I will be. But yeah, I really like the milkshake.
Carol?
What did Gabby say? What is the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. The question was, what is your favorite U.S.-based snack?
Oh, I don't know. For whatever reason, we don't have many donuts in Brazil. It's really difficult to find, especially in my city. I think there is like just one donut store, but it's like super expensive because it's considered more like a fancy imported from export, international food from America. So yeah, I think how here, I like how here it's very easy and very common to get donuts, and you can find literally everywhere.
Yeah. Kazi, how about you?
Well, ever since that Krispy Kreme donut entered my mouth, it has become my favorite. I absolutely love sweets and treats, so donuts for sure would be my favorite US-based snack.
So Wesley Ann Watkins wants to know, Krispy Kreme or Gads? Gads is Great American Donuts.
Okay, that's a complicated thing for me because I have a very radical opinion about it. I don't understand what's up with Gads. I don't really understand. Like Krispy Kreme, I go to the heaven, when I'm eating. But Gads, it's fine. It's you guys understand me, or I'm just the only one?
They're very different.
I agree. I don't see the hype with Gads.
I think
personally.
I think it depends on the type of donut you're getting. If you're getting a cake donut, specifically blueberry cake, then Gads all the way. I've never had as good of a blueberry cake donut anywhere else as I have at Gads. But if I'm getting just a glazed donut, I absolutely go to Krispy Kreme.
I agree. So like the Krispy Kremes are like this thick, and then the Gads donuts are like this thick. So I think it's just preference. Personally, Krispy Kreme. But there would be some people that would very much disagree with me, I'm sure, from Bowling Green. Gabby, do you?
I just love the blueberry of Gads, so I'm good with that one.
Yeah, I have to say, I have a long history of eating donuts, way too long. And when I was a little kid, growing up in outside of Minneapolis, the local Target store had a donut machine, smaller than what they have at Krispy Kreme, but it would plop out these cake donuts, had this thing that would go drop down a donut, and the donut would float through the hot oil, had a little thing that would flip them, so it'd be on the other side in the hot oil, and then this little conveyor belt that it would come down, and you could choose what you wanted on the donut. So what kind of sugary, schmutzy stuff, or, nuts, or cinnamon and sugar, or, and they put it all on fresh. And the donuts were so hot in the bag, you could barely hold the bag, especially when you were like 4. But so I love cake donuts as a result of that. And so, but, Krispy Kreme are the only glazed donuts that I would eat. But in Denver, we had a place that was out of New Orleans called Voodoo Donuts. And Voodoo Donuts, Maisie has opinions too. Voodoo Donuts have all kinds of stuff on them. They do them with bacon. They do them with Fruit Loops. They do them, you name it, they put it on there. It's crazy. They're glazed donuts like Krispy Kreme donuts. And that's one that it really takes a lot to wrap your head around. But, it's always crowded at about 3 o'clock in the morning with people who don't really know what they're buying. When I was living in Morocco, there were guys that would make what are sort of like the Krispy Kreme type donuts. There'd be a big vat of boiling oil and another big vat of dough. And he reaches down and he move the dough around, put his thumb through it to make the hole, and drop it in the oil and serve them up. And he'd serve them to you on like a chopstick. And, you get like 5 donuts for about 15 cents. They're called Sphinge. But, you know, and that kind of blew me away that you could find something kind of like a Krispy Kreme donut in Morocco. But anyway, that's my history of donuts on the planet. So what other, Megan, as someone who has not yet made their way to visit lots of other places and their yummy snacks, which international snack do you think, you know, I want to explore this one a lot more? Or are you like, you know, after having had this, I want to go to Brazil, or I want to go to Peru and drink some Inca Cola, or I've got to have a Wispa bar in Ireland or in England?
So if I had to pick where I would be going solely based on food, it would probably be somewhere in Europe, because the Wispa bar has my heart. But I will take a side opinion and say that because, like you said, I haven't been abroad, I haven't necessarily gotten to experience a lot of these snacks. So when I tried the Inca Cola and I tried the Brazili bites and the plantain chips, my palate was just like confused, if you will. Like, I don't think I enjoyed them as much the first time as when I did when I saved them and I tried them again and again later. Like, I think it's something that I would very much enjoy if I ate them several times. But the first time you ate that international snack, I was like, this isn't American. Like, it's very clear that it's just not something we would usually have here.
Yeah, you know, when you go to like Singapore and you buy Lay's potato chips that are shrimp paste or chili shrimp paste or sweet chili potato chips, you know, wow, it's really crazy. But they're really good. Talk about, you know, a confused palate. But that's what it's all about, right? Going someplace different and totally messing with your palate.
Yeah, and I like how the food talks a lot about the country. For example, my snack, the pão de queijo, it's made out of the yuca flour, because yuca in Brazil, in South America in general, you know, it's the most easiest thing to find. It's cheap, everybody has. And it talks a lot about the story of Brazil too. A long time ago, that people survived because of yuca.
Mm.
So yeah, I think you learning about food, you trying food, you also learn too a lot about culture and seasoning and stories, everything. It's very nice. I would say it's the best way to learn it.
I totally agree with that, because Inca Cola, that's its name itself, it's Inca, which is the ancient culture of Peru.
That's
so
true.
our ancestors. So we have and even the beverage, if you see like the model, the graphics that it has around, it's the textiles that Incas used to do. So those patterns are all around, yes, as you can see in there. And it's yellow, like the color of gold. So Inca culture used to have a lot of gold everywhere. So just seeing that thing, it's already saying you, hey, here is Peruvian culture. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, John, I agree with you. I think that that's one of the biggest reasons I think I could speak for all of us that we wanted to study abroad into like a new place, to try new things, new perspectives. You get an appreciation for stuff, and you never know what you may love. Like me, my first time trying lasagna, and I know people are tired of me talking about lasagna.
Right.
I love lasagna. I love Krispy Kreme donuts. I even know my mother texted me right now saying, you better bring me a Krispy Kreme donut when you come home. So yeah, it's just trying different things. That's a big reason why I wanted to come and study away from home. Just like you say, messing up your palate. You never know what you may find that you love and experience.
You know, that is so true. The best way to experience a country is through its food by far. And it's also the biggest challenge, because you are so used to the things that, the textures that work in your mouth that you're accustomed to, the flavors, you know, and the vegetables and the ways that things are cooked. You know, you're used to all those, and then you get something that is totally different. And it kind of blows your mind, and your mouth feels a little bit funny, but then you're kind of like, that's pretty good. And, you know, I think we all owe a special debt to Peru, because that's where potatoes came from. Like every potato on the planet originally came out of Peru. And similarly, especially, someone like me who loves spicy food, peppers also came from the Andes, out of Peru. So we owe a tremendous debt. And I'm just so grateful that those ancient humans who traveled around the world, and the Spanish and the Portuguese, brought those things to us so that we could, eat them. Like, there's nothing Italian about a tomato, even though we always associate Italian food with tomatoes, like lasagna. They all came from the Americas. And if it hadn't been, one of the good things that Christopher Columbus did was bring, tomatoes to Europe so that we could have, wonderful lasagnas and pastas and things like that. But it's, that movement of these things and people saying, wow, this is really good. When I was in London, the building that we rented, the company that I worked for sort of bought the building, but you could not buy the building. You couldn't buy the land. You had to pay what was called peppercorn rent, because back in the 16th century, the most valuable thing that they had, even more valuable than gold, were peppercorns from India. And so they would pay the landlord in peppercorns. And it's just so, but they still call it that today when you're buying a $100 million building in the middle of London, you're paying peppercorn rent as well as, a staggering amount of money. But it's just so funny how these things are all linked in, and how people have been taking these exotic flavors from different parts of the world and bringing them to their country and making wonderful things out of them. So does anyone have any final comments that they want to share about someone else's snack or their snack, or an experience snacking something, someplace else, or, how maybe tasting the cheese breads or the plantain chips or the Inca Cola brings you back home when you're homesick? Anything else you want to share?
I just want to say I'm really glad I got to try everyone's snacks. They were all so different and also good in their own way. And even the Coca-Cola, I'm not a big soda drinker, but I love cream soda, and it had this cream soda but also kind of fruity flavor to it, and it was really good. It was really refreshing after eating all of those snacks too. So just the combination of everything somehow worked really well, despite everything being from a different country and having a completely different flavor. And it just makes me excited to, travel more places and try more foods in the future.
Awesome.
Yeah, every time that I see myself wishing to go travel, I want to go there, I want to go there, I usually say I want to go there to eat these, I want to go there to eat that. So yeah, it's basically my goal in life, just to travel around, tasting things, trying everything. It's just happiness, wanderlust.
Awesome. The wanderlust palate.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you, all of you guys, for doing this, sharing this experience, especially now that, it's such difficult to sometimes return home or travel abroad or have those experiences abroad, but still we find ways to take the world to us, to bring the world to us. So thank you very much for doing that for all of us, and we should keep doing this kind of cultural sharing.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, well, that's a lovely place to leave us, Gabby. Thank you all so much. I'm glad you enjoyed each other's snacks. And, I can't wait till you share your snacks in your countries with everybody else at your home around that table and see who gets to eat the most first. All right, have a wonderful evening, everyone. Take care.
Guys.
Good luck with the rest of your semester. Bye. Bye.